Now, when you start a loop, there are going to be templates. It's going to ask you which template do you want to use, whether you're representing the seller or the buyer or a lease or referral. You'll choose a template. I'm going to take you into the back end of the templates and tell you what's required when you're creating a new loop. You're going to see the financial section in your loop. And in here, these are the things that we must have, either percent sign or dollar commission of what you'll be paid. And the purchase price. If the purchase price changes, go back into Dotloop and into your loop and update the purchase price. If it's $250,000, it goes there. Put in your commission. If you're representing the buyer, put in the percentage. 3%, 2%, 6%, whatever the case might be. If it's a seller, put the percentage in for the seller. Only the percent amount, 3%, 3.5%, whatever that might be. And if it's a flat fee, just put in a flat fee amount wherever the dollar sign is indicated. But you don't need both. Please do not put both in. Either put the commission percentage in or the flat amount that you'll be paid. And the closing date, you must have a closing date on each loop. You must have a closing date. I'm going to go back here again and look at some other fields that are required within the loop. The transaction type, if you're representing the seller, it's a listing. If it's a buyer, it's a purchase. So make sure you choose the transaction type right away and put the address in of the property. The MLS number, if it's not on the MLS, just put in the address. If the address is 1001 Real Estate Road, then just type in the address right there, 1001 Real Estate Road. That'll be fine, but we need some kind of number in there, preferably the MLS number though, so we can go back and verify some data for you. And other fields required here. This data is required because we link up or integrate with BrokerSumo. BrokerSumo is what creates our CDAs, and we approve the CDAs within the BrokerSumo account. BrokerSumo is a great system. You can log in at any time and see how many transactions you've closed year to date and the amount of money you've made, etc. So we need the address, again, in order for it to sync to BrokerSumo properly. Always have to have a close date, commission info, the buyer, seller, whomever you're representing, that has to be selected in Dotloop and before it will integrate into BrokerSumo, and the MLS number, as you see here. If any of that information is missing, it will not sync to BrokerSumo and allow us to create the CDA. Now, if you're not sure what documents you want to use, depending on who you're representing, this document here is in each loop. If you're representing the buyer, then you're probably going to want these documents associated with your transaction. If you represent the seller, same thing here. Leases, same thing here. It gives you an idea of what documents you may need on any one transaction. Again, it's in each template. There's also a residential data input form. If you're representing the seller, again, you want them to fill this document out, so they will basically approve the information that's going to go into the MLS, including the list price and things like that, the date, the expired date, things of that sort. It's about 8 pages long. You can send this to them so they can fill it out electronically to make it easy on everyone else. Then you just simply take that data and put it on the MLS. When they sign it, they're basically approving that you are representing their property correctly. That's very important because some sellers can get upset if you don't represent their property correctly. Let's go to listing documents. Both in the listing documents and the buying documents, you're going to see placeholders. Information about broker services is going to be one of them. When you have that IEBS signed, which is required, simply upload it into this area here. That's why it's called a placeholder. Upload it here and it'll satisfy the loop, the compliance piece of the loop. You're going to see other required documents as well. A listing agreement, it's going to be required. Upload it here and it'll satisfy the listing agreement. for compliance. Sales disclosure notice, uploaded here. It's required. If you're representing the seller, you must have a sales disclosure notice signed by the sellers. Information about, general information and notice to a seller. It's required. Uploaded here, and it satisfies the compliance. You may have it signed some other sort of way, and whether they scan it in or whatever the case might be, upload it into this spot, into this place, and compliance will be satisfied, and we can approve that form. What other required forms might be here? You can also use this printout, this active printout sheet. Print it out from your MLS. You can use this in place of that residential data input form. When you load that client, that seller on the MLS, print this sheet out, send it over to them, and have them to initial the bottom of it. Then they're going to basically approve that you have put in the right data in the MLS for them on their behalf. Now, this is really important because you really can get into a bind if a seller thinks that you're not representing their property correctly on the MLS. So when they sign this, they're approving that you have represented their property the way they want it represented, including the description. You know, they may have a problem with that. But anyway, have them to sign that sheet and upload it here. Those are the required documents. The MLS sold printout sheet, once a property has closed, print that MLS sheet out again, and it doesn't have to be signed. Just print it out and upload it into the loop, or load the final CD, the final closing disclosure from the title company. One or the other, but we need that in the system in order to close the loop out completely. And same thing in buying documents. There's a placeholder here for the 1-to-4 contract. Upload it here, and you're satisfying compliance. It's quicker for us to approve your file. Again, the information about broker services required. General information to notice of notice to a buyer, and for your protection, get a home inspection. Now these are required. Have your client, have your buyer sign one of these on every transaction. They will cover our butts, guys. Again, a printout of the sold MLS sheet once the property has closed, or that final CD, final closing disclosure from the title company, or settlement statement, whatever that title company called it. Now those are required, and here's a few other documents that are in the loop that you may want to use, so it's readily available for you to use if you need it. Any document that you don't see in here and you need, simply go to Texas Association of Realtors folder and do a search on it, like termination. I think that might, well, let's call it 1410. I know that's the actual document. Termination of listing. You know, just whatever the case may be, go to TAR and do a search on that document and simply import it into your loop. And that's all we want to go over here. These are the templates, and those are the required fields. And if those fields are required, please upload that document to satisfy compliance, and we'll be good. All right, have a great day. And happy selling.